There are two words that are in every, I'm not going to say every because I don't know, but there are two words that are in most females' vocabulary. These two words typically refer to somebody that they don't like. These two words typically are used in the wrong context. These two words are thrown around way too loosely. These two words probably apply to the person who's using them ever so often. These two words are childish and messy. You used to hear these words a lot when you were in high school. If you are still in high school, you probably hear it a lot. But in your adult life, you know, you would think that the use of the word would be tapered off, but they aren't, because they describe so many different women. They describe so many different girls. They describe men these days too. Oh my God, these words, childish and messy, are like the devil. Don't misuse the words. Please don't misuse the words. I hate when people misuse the words. I hate when people continuously use the word. Bitch, if you have to say that word more than 6 or 7 times a day, you probably the childish, messy bitch that you're referring to. I'm just saying. Childish. Let's start with that word. Childish. Obviously, child is a word in its own. And ish just describes an adjective of the word. So being childish is an adjective, and it means being childlike. It means doing things in a manner that a child would. So let me tell you something about children, baby, because I know children. I have them. One. Not them. I have one. And although my baby is pretty mature for her age, she is still childish because she is a child, so she's childlike. Children love to get attention. Doesn't matter if it's positive attention or negative attention. If it's attention, they want it and they do anything to get it. And I know a lot of women like that. Bitch, if you got to stomp around to get attention and be loud and be laughing like you just having a hell of a good time, bitch, you're being childlike at that moment. Because if you want to draw attention, the best way to do it is to sit somewhere, shut your fucking mouth, and look pretty. Now, I can't say that I always do that. I'm just an outspoken person, but I'm not overly boisterous. I'm not always loud. I do get loud sometimes when I feel like it's warranted, or if I'm tickled to death, I laugh loud and I may talk loud. But one thing I don't do is get loud to get attention. If I feel like somebody isn't paying me any attention and I want them to see me, I don't. Girl, I don't do all that to get anybody's attention. I'm not going to play musical chairs and move all around the room so that everybody in every corner of the room can know that I'm here, because my presence speaks volumes in itself. When I walk into a room, people typically say, "Hey Fergie, hey girl, what you been up to?" Like, I don't have to come through the room and be like, "Hey everybody, what's up everybody? Oh, you ain't gonna speak to me, girl?" Who gives a fuck? Because more than likely, people are going to speak to me before I speak to them. But I am courteous enough to know that, bitch, when you walk in the room, if you're the new person in the room, you are supposed to be the one who says hello. But 9 times out of 10, before I get into the room, people are anticipating my arrival, so they speak to me first. I can't help it. That's just how shit goes when I'm around. But I don't have to show my ass and act silly and be dancing and listening to loud music out in the open just to get fucking attention. I get attention because I do attention-getting things. Because I do amazing things. I do things that are eye-catching. I do things that make you say, wow, I have articles of clothing and I wear them so well that people are like, "Ooh, where did you get those earrings?" Like, I get positive attention. I rarely get negative attention. I know that I do get negative attention, so that's why I use the keyword rarely, because there are a lot of bitches who see me and they just like, ugh. And I like that kind of attention, bitch, because if you hate me, that means I'm doing something right. And I like it. I like it that way. I like it that way. I'm myself. I'm an individual. That's something that a lot of people need to work on being. But another thing that children do is try to get revenge. Tit for tat type shit. Now, I have also fallen victim to that. When someone hurts me, you better believe I want to hurt their ass back. I still do, but I know how not to, because I've utilized self-control, which is an adult-like trait of mine. Now, children, if somebody comes and takes their toy, they're going to be like, give it back. And if they don't get that toy back, they are going to take somebody else's toy the next chance that they get, because that's just what children do. Children are very spiteful. Children are very jealous. And I think that when someone is being jealous and they are trying to get back at someone, or call themselves betraying someone, or being backstabbers because someone did something to them, that's childlike. So those are some examples. Messy. Being messy is just being unorganized, unorthodox, being an instigator, being all over the fucking place, and causing havoc. I just feel like messy people are chaotic within, so they want chaos around them. That's what they like. And so I'm going to give you some examples of being messy. So, you see something and you can't wait to tell somebody that you saw it, not because it was interesting or because it was something that you feel has something to do with the person you're going to voice it to. It's because you want to make someone look bad, or you want to start another fight. Say, for instance, I see two bitches scrapping about one nigga, and I go back and tell a third chick who has nothing to do with it, but I know that she has an involvement with the nigga that these other two bitches were scrapping about, and be like, girl, Patricia and Shalonda was fighting over Patrick, and I was like, what the fuck they fighting over Patrick for? Because Patrick fucks with Tracy. Girl, go handle that. That's messy. What the fuck? Why would you tell her that? Why would you tell her that? Is she your friend? Especially if she ain't your friend, bitch. Why would you be divulging that information? If nobody said shit about that bitch, then it's no need for you to discuss it. Messy is bringing someone around who is going to be the oddball to make either them feel uncomfortable or make the person who doesn't like them feel uncomfortable. And that's going to cause some tension. A perfect prime example of that is Yandy on Love and Hip Hop. Like, if you don't watch Love and Hip Hop, I'm sorry, because I'm not going to explain it. But everybody knows that Yandy on fucking Love and Hip Hop is messy. And if you don't agree, bitch, you probably messy your goddamn self. Because there is no reason you need to be bringing bitches around who you know have fucking malicious intent, or who you know don't get along with the person's gathering or party or setting that you're attending. So, another form of being messy. Saying one thing in front of somebody and then saying another thing when a certain person comes around. That's also considered being fake. If you did not see my video, then you should probably go above this one and click on it and read it. Or it may be below. I may put a link in the description box. I don't know. But I'm not going to promise anything. So, yeah, I don't like when people divulge information that does not come up in conversation. They just all of a sudden want to throw it out there. Like, nobody's talking about the way that Michelle said she didn't like Sonya's new car and that bitch was raggedy. Everybody's talking about where we're gonna eat for lunch, but you just feel like it is a necessity to be like, girl, Michelle said that Sonya's car is raggedy as fuck. Have you seen Sonya's car, girl? Because I was like, it is kind of raggedy, but I wasn't gonna say nothing. Or saying some shit like, did you see so-and-so, so-and-so, and her husband getting into it the other day, girl? Mess. That was a hot-ass mess. But you didn't hear that from me. Bitch, I did hear it from you. And if you don't want to be the motherfucking subject of discussion when I tell somebody that you said it, then you probably shouldn't have it come out your mouth. Now, the way that I operate, bitch, you can never be messy with information that I have. You just can't, because I tell on my motherfucking self. Because before I talk about you behind your back, bitch, I done told you to your face. So that way, if anybody has some information about you that came from me, when they bring it to you, you're going to be like, oh, I already know. Because I say what I want. And I probably said it to you. So, I'm just saying, being messy is talking about somebody behind their back. If you don't like them behind their back, bitch, don't like them in their face. Again, that goes back to my video, real versus fake. I just can't get with it. I don't like people who are unorganized, people who can't even remember what they said. Did I say that? I don't believe it went like that. You calling somebody messy because they telling a story about some shit that happened, but it was brought up in conversation. That's because your ass is messy. That's because you feel like you know how to recognize mess, but you really don't, because your whole life is a mess. I'm just saying. Like, if we are discussing oil sheens, and somebody's like, yeah, I don't like to use oil sheen because it makes my hair really oily. And then somebody's like, oh, girl, maybe that's what happened to Sheena hair, because when I saw Sheena hair, her shit was stuck to her head. It was like really oily. Maybe I should tell her about this new oil sheen. Like, that's not being messy, because 9 times out of 10, if you go tell Sheena that you should use this oil sheen, you're probably going to be like, because I saw that your hair was really oily the other day, girl, you should probably use Suave oil sheen or Motions oil sheen. That's not being messy. But if I say some shit about how oily Sheena's head was, and I'm not saying it with good intentions, and I'm just like, oh, that bitch need to get her some motion, because that bitch hair be toe up from the flow up, and I never mentioned anything to Sheena to help her, you know, with the situation, then 9 times out of 10, I'm being messy. Messy is also saying shit in the presence of other people who you know are messy as well, so that they can be the deliverer of the bad news instead of you. That's being messy. But enough about childish and messy bitches, because I have to deal with those very minimally. So that's not something that affects my life, because when I realize that I'm around that shit, I disassociate myself. I'm just not about to deal with it. I'm too through. And that's just that. Thanks for watching. Damn, did it stop recording? No, it didn't.